Hello, everybody, and I'm pretty late on this review since Valentine's Day is over, but I might as well talk about this movie, since I'm continuing my 2025 reviews. I'm reviewing Hard Eyes. So, disclaimer, sorry if you hear rain in the background. It is currently storming in my area, but with that said, let's talk about this movie. So, this came out February of 2025, and it stars Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding as they are being chased by a crazy man in a heart eye mask, and he literally murders couples. It kind of reminds me of the Zodiac Killer, because he would target couples back in the day and would murder them while wearing a mask. So I'm guessing they took inspiration from him. So this movie is clearly inspired by Scream, just like a bunch of other slasher movies, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'm pretty sure there's a movie similar to this kind of theme, of like a crazy killer going after couples. But surprisingly, this movie was pretty decent. I don't think it was as good as the Scream movies, but there was a lot of fun with this movie. The deaths were pretty graphic at times. It was definitely just a gory movie for sure. We got our typical, I guess you can say, not teen cast, but young adult cast. Yeah, these characters aren't in high school. I guess you could say they're college students. I don't know, it's not really made clear. But Olivia Holt's character, she wants to have a date for Valentine's Day, but she can't find one until she sees Mason Gooding's character. I always love Mason Gooding. He's a very charming man in real life and in the Scream movies. And he was pretty good in Scream 7. I always love that character in the Scream movies. And he's pretty good in this movie. He's a lot of fun. He plays the good guy date who is suspected of being the murderer at first, until we find out that he's not the killer. He's not like the crazy boyfriend who's creepy like in Scream with Billy Loomis. Not like that. But the character who gets framed for the crimes. But the opening of the movie is literally a murder scene. A couple's having their lunch date until the man decides to propose to his girlfriend. She, of course, says yes, until they're both brutally murdered. The husband gets murdered first, and then the lady, she literally runs into like a pipe area in a cooling room, whatever you want to call it, and she literally gets murdered in there, and there's just blood everywhere. We're going to be talking about some graphic deaths, of course. Disclaimer if you're sensitive to that kind of topic. But when we do see the Hard Eyes killer, his mask actually looks pretty impressive. It definitely looks like something that will be, I guess you can say, remembered. Not as like crazy as the Terrifier movies, where those movies are so much more graphic in their violence. And Art the Clown is like iconic. But Hard Eyes, I don't know if he's as iconic as Ghostface, but I could see someone wearing a Hard Eyes mask. I can see them being at Spirit Halloween. That could be a lot of fun. But once these two couples do meet up on a date, they're not really sure how they want to go as a couple. But they end up arguing at the date, and they end up kissing, and they end up just going to her apartment until they're attacked by Hard Eyes. And this is where we get the chase scene. The girl is running away. The boyfriend gets cut, and we think he could be dead, but now he's alive. He gets questioned at the police station. And of course, our protagonist starts to fall in love with Mason Gooding. They start to want to go on dates, but they feel their lives are endangered because of this killer. Various other murders do happen. Their Uber driver gets murdered through the face. It's just... But I'm kind of jumping a bit. But when they do get to I think they all hang out at the drive-in movie theater. Who still goes to drive-ins? Let me know. And they're hanging out with this other couple who's dressed like a hippie. I think he gets brutally murdered. He gets literally stabbed through the mouth. It's just like, ugh. And then the girlfriend gets brutally murdered, and the two have to escape. But the Hard Eyes killer, I think he ends up getting shot to death by one of the cops. I'm trying to remember. So sorry if my memory is bad. And they do unmask him, but it turns out that's not the killer later when it's revealed it. But Olivia Holt ends up feeling guilty, having to say goodbye to Mason Gooding after they clear his name. But he's about to go back to home, but she decides to go visit him to confess her feelings for him. And throughout the movie, she said she's not dating him. She even tells the killer that they're not dating until she confesses her feelings. When we do get revealed of who the killer is, she gets a phone call at the airport, and she even hugs a guy who she thinks is Mason Gooding. And she goes to the place that he's been kidnapped at. It's literally revealed that he's been kidnapped to a church, an abandoned church, and they're literally the victim. The reason why the killers are doing this, it turns out it's two killers. I don't know these characters' names. The killer reveal was kind of not. I didn't really care for the reveal, honestly. The two basically are just a crazy couple who just want to murder people to commit some ritual, and I guess they have a fantasies of killing people, which is, of course, is disturbing. But the way these two killers try to kill the couple, our main protagonist, it's just like crazy the way they do it. But of course, just like in every horror movie like Scream, the killer dies. But the way they die was definitely brutal to watch. You were like, ooh. But surprisingly, Olivia Holt is able to take down one of the killers, and she literally stabs her through the chest by impaling her with a nearby, I forget, like a nearby stake that was nearby. The way she dies brutally, it feels satisfying in some way. Of course, the other dude dies. I think he gets shot through the head, even though he literally got his face all smashed up during the whole finale. Mason Gooding literally grabs a crossbow and just shoots the man in the head. Who knows if he survived? Is this the new Stu Macher? Is he alive? But the movie does end where it flashes forward to a year. And I forgot to also mention that Olivia Holt is working at some fashion design place, I'm pretty sure. But she gets a promotion, I'm pretty sure, at the end of the movie. And even Mason Gooding is working there too. The two are officially a couple. They even get a prank call at the drive-in, what appears to be the return of the Hard Eyes killer. But yeah, it's all a prank. So Hard Eyes was definitely a decent horror movie. If you like Scream, I guess this movie could be for you. But honestly, I'd prefer to watch Scream. Some of the deaths were brutal. It was creative, the way they did it. A Valentine's Day themed killer. They honestly could do slasher movies where it's just based on some holiday. I mean, they did Thanksgiving, and now I guess Hard Eyes. Who knows? Maybe there's a Christmas movie out there that has a crazy Santa. We shall see. But I'd definitely give this movie probably just a 6 out of 10 for sure. It wasn't that memorable, but it was definitely a fun watch for sure. But next movie review, I'd have to look. It may be Happy Gilmore 2, starring the amazing Adam Sandler. So be on the lookout for that. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.